Here's what I discovered. Food was never actually the problem. Food was the symptom, and that realization changed everything. For years, I thought my problem was food. I thought the muffins were the villains. The cookies, well, they were the bad guys. And apparently, well, the potato chips were the entire criminal justice system. If this food hadn't existed, I figured I'd be thin, serene, and possibly glowing. Well, glowing like a yoga instructor in a shampoo commercial. Now, if you're someone who struggles with overeating, emotional eating, compulsive eating, binge eating, whatever name you want to give it, you may already know exactly what I'm talking about, because the experience is strangely similar for almost all of us. It's not like we skip merely into the kitchen singing, "Oh, goody, I get to eat half a cake and feel fantastic about myself." No. What usually happens is, well, it's much sneakier than that. Something happens in life. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it's subtle. Maybe you've had a frustrating conversation. Maybe you feel lonely. Maybe you're bored. Maybe you're anxious about something. And sometimes you don't even know what the feeling is. It's just uncomfortable. And then suddenly, your brain has an idea. Let's eat something. Now, the interesting thing is, at that moment, well, you're not hungry. Your stomach is not writing letters, to the government, asking for emergency food supplies, but your mind is looking for relief. And food has been trained very cleverly, I might add, to look like relief. So off we go to the kitchen or wherever, you've hidden your favorite snacks. Now, here's the fascinating part. While you're eating the thing, whatever the thing is, there's often another voice, running in the background, like a very rude sports commentator. "Well, here we go again. Look at you. Couldn't last 5 minutes. What's wrong with you? You can't stick to anything." So there you are, eating something that was supposed to make you feel better, while simultaneously insulting yourself the entire time. Not exactly a 5-star dining experience, and apparently, I wouldn't think, not very good for your self-esteem. And the relief you were hoping for, well, that lovely soothing feeling the brain promised, well, it lasts about 3 seconds, maybe 5 if it's really good chocolate. Then the uncomfortable feeling comes right back. And now it's brought a friend called guilt. For a long time, I thought this meant I had no willpower. That was the standard explanation, wasn't it? People would say, "Well, you just need more discipline." As if somewhere there was a store selling willpower in tiny little jars, and I had simply forgotten to pick some up. But over time, as I went from one diet to another, I began to see something much more interesting. Compulsive eating isn't a lack of willpower. It's a mind looking for relief. That's all. Your mind is trying to soothe something uncomfortable. It just happens to have learned that food is a very quick, very available, very socially acceptable way to do it. Now, here's the twist that changed my thinking completely. I started asking myself a different question. Instead of asking, "Why can't I stop eating?" I started asking, "What's eating me?" In other words, what's going on inside me that my mind is trying to soothe? And let me tell you, That question is a lot more useful because when we believe the problem is food, we spend all our time trying to control food. We make rules, we ban things, we promise ourselves we'll be good. We try diet, plans, charts, systems, apps, and possibly the occasional prayer. But if food is just the symptom, controlling the symptom doesn't actually solve the real issue now, does it? It's like taking pills. Pills mostly fix the symptom, but not the underlying cause. It's a little like trying to turn off a smoke alarm by waving a towel at it while the kitchen is on fire. Eventually, we have to look at the fire. Now, the good news, and there is very good news here, is that once you understand this pattern, something interesting begins to happen. You start to realize you're not broken. You're not weak. You're not some mysterious creature who simply cannot be trusted around baked goods. Your brain learned a coping habit. That's all. And the human brain is extremely good at learning habits. In fact, if the brain got a diploma every time it learned a habit, mine would, well, I'd have a wall full of certificates by now. Some of them helpful, some of them involving chocolate or maybe my favorite pralines and cream ice cream. But habits can change. And the first step is simply seeing what's really happening when the urge to eat appears. Instead of assuming the problem is food, we begin to get curious. What's eating me right now? Am I tired? Am I stressed? Am I feeling lonely? Am I avoiding something? Even is something buried in my subconscious that I'm not even aware of? Or, and this one happens a lot, am I just looking for a little comfort? Because let's be honest, life is not always a calm and peaceful yoga retreat. Sometimes life is messy. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes it's just plain exhausting. And the mind, bless its little neurons, is simply trying to help. Unfortunately, it picked a solution that only works for about 6 seconds. But the moment we start seeing that pattern, something very important begins to shift. Instead of fighting ourselves, we start understanding ourselves. And understanding is a much kinder place to begin change. So if you find yourself standing, in front of the refrigerator one night, having what I like to call a meaningful relationship with leftover lasagna, although if I'm being honest, mine usually involved ice cream. Let's try a small experiment. Pause for just a minute, not to judge yourself, not to scold yourself, just to get curious. What's eating me right now? And I don't mean scolding yourself, because you can't control your eating for any length of time. You may be surprised by the answer. And that question alone can start to loosen the grip of the habit. Because once we begin addressing what's really going on the inside of us, food no longer has to do the emotional heavy lifting. And that is where real change begins. I know I'm not giving you the answer at the moment of how or what to do. I'm taking you on a journey with tidbits of food thought for you to digest as we go forward in this journey together. You are bombarded everywhere with diets, exercise, shots, pills. Well, you know the routine. But you are not bombarded with how to change your thoughts and behaviors to create lasting weight loss. I want to take you down this path. a path that I used to finally get out of the yo-yo syndrome of making weight my daily thoughts of what I could eat, what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat, etc. Losing weight, gaining it all back, and on to the next weight loss idea. My life revolved around weight and food. What a crappy way to live. This is not an instant plan. It takes a bit to change your thoughts and behaviors around food. You've had a lifetime of the losing weight mentality, and now I want to help you change all of that. I want you to get your high on life, not food. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. And if you're visiting again, well, welcome back. Meanwhile, take care, keep smiling, until the next time. Bye for now.